Swifts are bringing to round 14. Maddie Proud on court. Caitlin Nevins running on for the Firebirds in her 50th NNL match. So congratulations to her up against the Swiss captain in Abby McCulloch.
There are some really good clashes, Annie, all the way down the court. And the big one for mine to keep a really close look at is Sarah Clow and Romelda Aiken. And Romelda Aiken's had a really good start to the season, went a little bit quiet midway through, and she's back. And this is a huge test for Sarah Clow, who I think might just be catching the eye of some Australian selectors.
Well, she certainly isn't doing her chances any harm. Some great stuff on show in Suncorp Super Netball, and more to come in our superhero round. And the Queensland Firebirds will get us underway. Their international Berger with a footwork call on the taking of the centre pass. That won't please Rosie Jenke.
No, it's not a good way to start, but it was good pressure from the Swifts' defensive line, and they forced Berger to turn and look backwards, and that's where the footwork infringement came.
Over the top they go to the Trinidad and Tobago international Sam Wallace, and the Swifts are on the board. Kapow.
How many of them have you got stashed away?
Only a couple. Can only come up with a couple. Beautiful split from Sam Wallace. Oh, and she looks comfortable to post. Sam Wallace, 39 last week at 87%. She shot 48 in round 4 when these two last met. Of course, that match went to the Firebirds. The reply from the visitors.
And that is really their A game for the Firebirds. The turn from Tippett and looking straight to Aiken. They have played around with that approach to the circle throughout the season this year, but that's when they look their best. Speaking of best, there's Gabby Simpson. A bit of a dodgy outlet pass from her. She was off balance, but you know, you get taught from a very young age when you're playing netball to not throw anything back into the circle.
Again, great pressure from the Swifts, holding up Queensland's speed, and they force the error. Maddie Proud with the pickup. Turner links with the skipper, McCulloch. Proud. Hadley starts the game this time where she's more comfortable at wing attack. Remember last week she started at wing defence. Hadley, Somerville. Sticky fingers on show, round 14 from Sam Wallace. And she puts up her third of the night, takes the Swifts out by 2. Erin Berger was MVP when they last met. Flamisha Simpson. Tippett works the drive hard, looking for the connection with Romelda Aiken, and that's really what inflamed their performance last week. They went back to what they do well, bit of razzle-dazzle, automatic high release.
And when they turn and release quickly, especially for someone like Caitlin Nevins, who's shorter than Abby McCulloch, if she turns and releases quickly, she doesn't give McCulloch the chance to set up that one-on-one defensive play. So it's a smart way to approach the circle for the Firebirds. Well, very close to a replay then from Somerville. Had the ball in her hand and dropped it. Umpire let it go, and the Swifts make the most of it.
Amy Somerville played round 4 when these two met. Helen Housby out at that period of Suncorp Super Netball with an injured thumb. She, of course, is kept out tonight with an injured calf. Very disappointing for the English international to finish out the season.
Yeah, and really that combination between Housby and Wallace was starting to look good, and just the injury has just meant that they haven't been able to build on it through the course of the season, and that's probably somewhere where the Swifts have fallen down in recent weeks.
Almost had an automatic connection from round 1, but of course one person's misery is another's opportunity, and Amy Somerville, a talented young player. I was corrected this week. She's 24, not 23.
Oh, Shimon, she'll put that in the playbook to have a block from someone as tall as Wallace, and Kate Shimon is a master of that. That's her 10th for the season, and the next best player is sitting at 2, so you can gives a pretty good idea when you're 5 times better than anyone else in the league.
Yeah, Shimon 10, everybody else in chase position.
And a good finish, and that's what the Firebirds need to do in order to prosper. They really do have to reward their defenders for their pickups.
Aiken looking for Gretel Tippett, and she doesn't disappoint. Firebirds hit the lead. Don't forget, you can catch every game of Suncorp Super Netball and the Netball Live app. Stream it live, fast and data-free only with Telstra. Oh, good ball, good vision from Hadley. Wallace is seeing only the ring. rocking the red headbands. Probably got superpowers list. Nevins looking for some clean air. McCulloch with some tight marking, arm over pressure from the Swiss skipper. Tippett steps it in.
Just interesting then when Romelda Aiken got the ball, and she does it really well. Whenever she gets the ball outside of her comfortable shooting range, which is generally about 30 centimetres away from the ring, the first person she turns to look at is Gretel Tippett. So they actually do have quite a nice combination going with that 1-2 shooter-to-shooter play.
Good defensive pressure from Gretel Tippett. So the Swifts regroup. Good patience in the forward line. That's who they're looking for. Wallace, the go-to. Swifts level, 6 apiece. And don't forget, keep sending in your messages at Superhero Round. There's some superstars on court, so make sure you send them in. Let them know. Put the hashtag Team Girls. It's all about inspiring women to inspire confident and young girls.
Replay call there against Caitlin Nevins, and that was the result of what I was talking about before about Abby McCulloch getting her hands up. Nevins was put into two minds as to where she was going to put the ball.
Somerville playing a nice foil top of the circle. The attention's all through Wallace, and Shimon just chasing at the back a little early.
That's what Amy Somerville has to do, and I felt in the early rounds when she came in to replace Helen Housby, she wasn't taking that drive strong enough. Last week against Sunshine Coast, we saw her just turn and shoot from anywhere in the circle, and she looked really comfortable doing that. But tonight she's playing a far more of a distributor role.
Contact call goes against Amy Somerville, so she'll stand out. Flamisha with the ball. Berger looking for Shimon on the backspace. Well contested from Maddie Proud, but she draws the contact. Contest from McCulloch, but she now draws the contact. So they're willing.
They are, and I guess what you have to remember about our game is that if you're going to contest from behind, you need to be clean and you need to have your footwork going.
I spoke about Sarah Clow in our opener. She had a great piece of ball there, just couldn't come down with it, but she's right. The one she misses, she's right near.
She is, and the Swifts front line and the mid-court are doing a really good job with her of giving her some protection, so the ball isn't screaming down the court, so she's got plenty of time to look at it. She'll start to pick up more as the game goes on.
An interesting contest. Romelda Aiken, the #1 offensive rebounder in Suncorp Super Netball. Clow not too shabby on the defensive rebound. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Nice double play, McCulloch to Proud. Somerville opens the space. It's open behind for Wallace. She comes down from the heavens. Jet-fueled leap from Sam Wallace. And the Swifts go out by 1.
Geez, that's great control of the ball, isn't it? Just that one-handed tape.
Well, it's a beautiful ball, but you can't underestimate the timing of the jump either from Wallace. A beautiful connection from the Swifts. They've got a bit of a run here. They're out by 2.
You know, when the Swifts get really easy access to the circle, it's when they play that triangle, when they use the angles around the edge of the circle. And Sarah Clow on the contest started to come into it.
Proud, Hadley down the sideline they come. Back play to Turner. Turner and McCulloch working hard in the mid-third to progress the ball, so good support play from the back line. Circle edge from Proud over to Wallace. The split gives her a close shot.
As the Swifts get out to a 3-goal lead, you can see it's all through Sam Wallace. Somerville playing the distributor role. She's got 4 goal assists to her name. She's the best place in the Swifts for that, so just making space and getting rid of the ball into Wallace, and here she is again.
Plenty of talk last week, Liz, about Alice Teague-Neal and the lack of goals, but what we don't know was the formula set up by the coach. Now, we might be looking at the same thing here with Amy Somerville, a feeding role. I know there are times when you want to take the shot, but you need to factor in what the direction would be.
You do, but I think in this competition, even if you've got the most dominant shooter in the world, you still need to be scoring 55, 60 goals, and that's what you need your goal attack scoring in that 10 to 15 goal range.
Need the change up, need the confidence to do it.
And if you look at the Firebirds, Gretel Tippett at the moment sitting 5 from 6, make that 6 from 7. So she's the dominant player at the moment for the Firebirds. Aiken just sitting at 2 from 3.
So Aiken with 2 from 3. Gretel Tippett taking the lead in goals. Now, she was the catalyst last week for the Firebirds turnaround. The fire came from the back with Simpson, the fire in the belly there. But Gretel Tippett was the catalyst at the front. She's almost a barometer for a Firebirds performance.
She is. And when the Firebirds were losing games for the middle of the season, she almost looked disinterested. In the last few games, she's come out firing and she's using her feet, distributing the ball really well. Interesting call then. Romelda Aiken pulled for obstruction, using her arms to create the space, and she's arguing that Clough's pushing up. So we'll keep our eye on that contest. I suspect it's going to get very willing.
Almost turned Turner the wrong way. She came off the lead well. Swift's dominating at the moment. Rob Wright always understates, underplays the girls. He said they're in a far better position than he expected. He's happy with them coming in 6th, maybe was expecting 5th if it all went to plan. You'd have to be delighted with the start. There he is, head coach for the New South Wales Swifts, and this week appointed assistant coach to the Australian Fast 5 team. Stacey Marangovic from the Fever will be head coach, and Megan Anderson, another assistant coach. So some big opportunities coming the way of some of our Suncorp Super Netball coaches. But back to the business of round 14, and the momentum is with the hosts. New South Wales Swifts out by 6. Berger to Tippett. Haven't mentioned Nevins much.
No, it's been a good contest between Nevins and McCulloch, and whenever McCulloch gives Nevins a bit of space, then she steps into the game. But she's just struggling when McCulloch sits up on her and stops that drive to the top of the circle. If you have a look down the other end, it's a really similar story. Whenever Paige Hadley's got to the top of the circle, it's because Gabby Simpson and Erin Berger have had a swap. There you go, Hadley defended by Berger there. So Simpson's doing a really good job on Hadley, but she can't be everywhere.
Beautiful roll from Sam Wallace, and the completion takes the Swifts out by 6. Tippett looking for the long bomb to Aiken. Goes by Berger, drops it short. Clough with another piece. Again, great front defending from Sarah Clough, putting the pressure on Aiken. She steadies, and that one falls, brings the Firebirds to 10. Rosalie Jenke, what's she thinking?
It's hard to tell what she thinks because she's got, you know, that poker face that you don't see much of. I think she'll be disappointed with the Firebirds start, and they have sometimes tried to force the ball into Romelda Aiken, when often what they need is that next pass to get the ball closer to the edge of the circle for the feed.
Beautiful shot from Amy Somerville, and that's exactly what you were talking about, the instinct to know when to go to post. Very good last week from mid to long range. Nevins.
Centre both players.
Both players out now. We'll give them easy passage, you'd think. They take the high road through Aitken.
Obstruction, goalkeeper.
Now shooting practice for the Jamaican international. 5-goal game. Less than 3 minutes until the first break. And Liz, it's been all Swifts. They sit below the Firebirds on the ladder.
It has. But the Swifts, as we know, don't finish games well. So you can start really well. They've got to continue really well. And what we haven't seen from them this year too often is that full 60-minute performance. So if you watch the Firebirds, you know they can score quickly. And it's up to the Swifts, really, to keep this disruption going defensively.
Beautiful take from Aiken. That's the contact against Clough. Tippett with the offload of the penalty. Romelda Aiken almost looking frustrated.
Yeah, well, she's copping a workover from Sarah Clough, and she wasn't happy about the penalty that came earlier. And there you go, the 3-second call. It seemed quick, but often if you've got the ball in hand and you take a look at a couple of your options, and by the time you've made up your mind, those 3 seconds have passed. So I reckon Romelda Aiken's probably not happy about the ball that's been delivered into her. That's why Clough's getting a good hand to things.
Not happy about the room service. Gee, Super Netball is so unpredictable. The Firebirds coughed up 38 turnovers round 12 against the Thunderbirds, one of the least performing teams in the competition. Turned it around last week to really put the screws on the Giants, and then can't back it up first quarter. Plenty of time yet to resolve it. Berger just places it away from defensive position. Oh, great finish from Gretel Tippett.
She's having a ripping first quarter, 7 goals in the first 15 minutes, and Romelda Aiken sitting at 6 goals, and if Sarah Cloud can keep Romelda Aiken to 6 goals or 7 goals for the first 15 minutes, she should stick this quarter in a scrapbook.
You're happy you talked her up, aren't you?
Right.
It's all about you. The Swifts 17, the Firebirds 13, trying to make a mini run. Less than a minute on the clock. Looking for the quick ball to Aiken again. The service not good. And once again, the ball turned over via the whistle to the New South Wales Swifts.
Oh, Hadley, she's in the pocket. She's calling for it. Simpson went looking. That opened Hadley up, and it's given the Swifts the opportunity to put another shot up.
They don't need to rush, though. They're giving time now for the Firebirds to... Oh, it's their own centre. Correction. No wonder they're rushing.
Rush
Chance
as
for
hard as you
another.
like.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight to post. Oh, Wallace pulls it in. What a start from the host. That one out. Somerville can't grab it. And time will deny both now. Just seconds as they hold it up for the throw-in. But what a start from the New South Wales Swifts. They go to the first quarter break leading the reigning champions 18-30.
Really nice.
Coach slide. For him, there's been channeling a bash on the swing, having a big crowd hearing Kirin enjoying round in football. Birds with it all.
Opening to Sydney in goal 3 games with 16 goals. So it's a compelling. They've peaked the level of 10-5 in it.
Wheels fell off the side. Two the last one. They've got fight in them. So what a best citizen on the thing is up.
Aaron Burgess, Bird, no positive. We've seen in led the circle. Aaron Burgess last. It's off screen. See it's simply make crowd the job. It's really difficult. Shut up.
Sam Wallace going fast. Face. Turns out 7. Pledge 8. Position 8. Can put behind. And she brings closer. Gets into her before when these arms good. Right now.
Phrase.
Sheep around. Shimmer, Banish, Wallace not really putting a different load. It could have been. Now they make progress. Ball, Sims, strong, high word from this match.
Cool. Dangerous for the when she's like she's on them.
Merlin, she dragged it, so pretty at end of dividends. But go working fine. It's being second.
It's off. It's Firebird to the she can put it up. And I guess I know that it will have a beautiful high ball or 2 balls. So it doesn't 2 on.
Brady of every Webbird now. They've drawn it back. So they've walking something for the Wallace. Need looking Wallace Encore. Support.
Had her eyes down a second. Could have been a little bit flatter. And try to look at that and think. But good for the 5 minute. It's called Gabby. Floor on the very long teammate towards
from and should is back.
Sammy that hurt most day. Approach. Not shot. Almost doesn't.
Evans. But it's brought back. Tip drops it short. The Aiken mopped up.
And that is the 5, but Gretel tip it a long like this is Ramel and defense against Maddie Proud. Another 5 being hurting their in the second quarter.
Go to remove second lob, and that take more from 12 doing this in this little jump ball again. Yeah. Shooting this for second, third, and gently face exactly chance. So it's time by the well, Moves losing momentum. 20 back in moment.
I by goal all we agreed play the contagion and its girls support that working joining.
Coming up here, trying to start, and then you can test the ball here. It makes it cover out where, yeah. No, you can choose the one to be able to get over. So, you can get it. Such a base that work on a contact with that motor. Alright, or make sure that trying to
there from Robert Wright, and I reckon he's in the last that's got way between tipping to 1 pound 8-1. Can she but I'm sure on it.
Knowing at the moment that you in the netball in moment was one it was a great snake in McLean's head. Switch from a tactic time and put themselves under Burger. Simple penetration for shape
and still a bit too much the tip of space from that his first step off. Will explore any if we bury in the trans top of the circle.
Visitors hit the front. Firebirds 28. So tied up. Yeah, the alley. Make it. Nice trial in the front row.
Absolutely.
I love that. Win. Maddie wiped a couple of times. Vaulton Wallace close and finish.
It's their patients have passed the top that room.
With the was being a bit too much. Get off. Must have cross. Tip it. Shoot.
Do a little and keep trying to get position. Take it in the shot. Try and get a position. It's going to win ball.
Firebird take ball. Uggle. A little clunky from things in the case of Aussie. Now limp last game and Eagle. No, it's so fun to block the court.
I reckon 5 defensive started to figure out. Oh, that's why I stopped here. So you,
I've told the much. Fit 4 2 would have changed then.
You would cap. I don't know.
The back bill.
I reckon sure back and pressure on one. That means there's some still under this target so far the split up independent.
Well, that test they change it can roll in the weeks talented Victoria. She said in Fury and great. Each is to super net. Wouldn't you?
Times the switch thing to they could who could level of change birds in response for 8 for 2. But if you look at Swift for 1, just so there's more solid.
To 2 round Tippetties finished by 11 quarter. Rain.
You know, and talking about that, Maddie throughout go and she
discipline right. He put on energy and pros 60.
You'll have to ask this go they've scheduled 4 in
the change in time. This will stand out and play. Remember, Aiken at her quarter.
So have a look at the, it's a beautiful in 8, but going the 8 into the second quarter, considering the perceived market, it's a minimum that you should.
Where she was on 7, and then well, that was still a bit of the serve from Love. She's grand. She's steady, and last week was 8. For good, but she's to be best. It's managed notice years. Sims always
Beautiful to almost with the flight over easily. Really look what I'm strong moves. The tips they took the trip along the drive line up well, and that's maybe some level of that it's called or injury at the time. Will be had to set no pack. That's my problem.
What would you do?
Make the that couple of takes. Maddie proud topic.
Every big contact. Looking for the visit, and the Firebirds have in this quarter 16-4.
I think it's better from the thing like the shimmer measure just adjusted beautifully. This and well, it's happy to get through the what I take from and words into going off to go even said yeah it was and she for those
going mid defender.
That so she did it up. That was toes.
It's almost a global. Fuel, don't you? My lung.
So, birds, but engineer just change to defend the fight well. Swift station way through.
Follows the hood, Swift to a great in her. She's a big Swift remnant. Now, one rugby players in, and it's only her down players carry huge inspiration to her to go with the president. The hell of a mind here in Denver. Push through her sports and all things good.
Thank you, inspiration. A big movement by the Swift line block and and play like the Swift.
I've maybe that didn't convert to
that's what she the Swift Somerville from all ask for more from and the drive is that Wallace drawing out of the circle was a swift one. They've found with this had such first quarter pretty easy.
Sarah had a great interesting turn off the back shape. Just pulled it out. But Nick
does back penalty then using a push. It's the one I can go. Just really nice pass. That can next to balls. It really has a couple of big swings.
Last time at college, she's been in the wing plays with now it's a great shot. In the game, the New South Wales Twist, they can it with a 4. I feel like a bit of a 3. Can do 20 in the second.
Yeah, build up 5 rounds. It's like with defense on a rest for build 8. All have all their own way. Picking up the ball and Kirin has terrific.
I think big again. That had the Swiss goals not all over it, but Kate these from England 5 and 9 and they go to the time eating the 2 clubs of these scoring first by the fiber across ratio with solid.
Eagle Sam, a lot of maybe shooting would have like support Amy.
No, sure. We take a look and I have more.
Second, do you need to back it?
This is the doctor we pay yeah, we pay.
Thanks for your time. I'm also joined by connection. You've done it in that quarter. We've just how well you're playing and help them cut back into.
Yeah, that's what Australia might happen to taking that first ball. We came out there and said, in front of so that's easy.
Yeah, what you need to do in the second is all that as it goes more confidence in your shooting. We'll look at that there for a while.
Yeah, but it's our job to just balls to the front, so doing it. We're going to keep doing enough game.
On their fouls in that quarter, them go to that half time with Welcome back, round 14, serving up some answers to pieces of puzzles that are the playoffs, and Gabby Simpson looking for some answers herself.
Yep, she was having a chat to the umpires saying that the Swift defenders were holding the arms and asking them to keep an eye on that, so we'll keep an eye on it too now that we know.
And Mickey Vaughan, new face on court for the New South Wales Swifts. Liz chatted about options for Rob Wright. He's gone to one of the rookies. So Mickey Vaughan making her debut in Suncorp Super Netball, the young Victorian, in the 10 for the Swifts tonight, and will be tested up against Kate Kirin. And we might get straight to the sideline. Laura Spurway is with somebody who knows all about winning premierships, the Firebirds coach, Rosalie Jenke.
Thanks, Annie. Well, Rosalie, you must be happy with how your goal shooters are doing at the moment, given that we have noticed there is a bit of discrepancy in the other side.
Sorry, what was that? I missed that completely.
I was just commenting on how well your shooters have done in the second quarter there, given there's more of a discrepancy on the other team, bit of pressure there on Sam Wallace.
Yeah, look, I was just pleased with the way that we came out of that first quarter. We were pretty slow out of the blocks, and you know, the response for the second quarter was excellent. So, you know, we're hoping that, you know, we can carry that through to this quarter, because we need to have the intensity and be a lot more, have the tempo and let the ball go.
And what is the key, do you think, to maintaining that lead? Because we did see the Swifts start to get a little bit of momentum towards the end of that second quarter there.
Oh, look, I think, you know, both the Swifts and the Firebirds match up really well, and it's the nature of the game, you know. If you lose the ball, you can get 3 in a row, but and so the momentum changes. So you've got to try and stop that.
You've got some very vocal colleagues here, so I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you, thank you.
Heavy fall from Maddie Turner right in front of our commentary position. She's up and chasing again. They're both chasing. Good ball into Romelda Aiken.
No changes to the Firebirds, and the one change for the Swifts, Michaela Vaughan on a goal attack. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her play, Annie. I've heard a lot about her and her form through the ANL, the secondary competition that sits underneath Suncorp Super League.
Straight to post. Yeah. Gotta love that about her.
And look, she's got a bit of extra height compared to Amy Somerville, and that will hold her in good stead against Kate Shimmin. And what she needs to do is to get rid of the nerves, and hitting that first shot will do that for her.
Well, it's the right time of year, knowing this is your last game of the season, to start looking down the track, because this is what these two will be doing, planning their 2018 campaign. Vaughan. Long ball across to Hadley now at centre. Started the game at wing attack. Well, she's hungry for ball, Mickey Vaughan, so that's an encouraging sign. Doesn't fall. Kept alive? No. Clemisha with possession. Rob Wright on screen. To his left, Megan Anderson. As we mentioned, she's been named as an assistant coach along with Rob to the Fast Five side, the Australian Fast. And her daughter delivered the ball at the start of this quarter, which we didn't see it on screen, but my colleague in crime here had a tear in her eye and a camera out. Gotta love the way she went straight to mum too and joined the bench. Yeah, the netball future then.
Totally ditched her dad.
Berger, quick play of the centre. Tippett's been the go-to on centre pass receives. Up in the air they go. Aiken looking a little fancy. She looked a bit casual on the take.
Oh, and it was a different sort of pass from Caitlin Nevins. It was a really sort of almost a straight up and straight down pass and a low release. But you can get away with that with Romelda Aiken, because you know that she'll put a body on the line to get hold of the ball. So this is a real dangerous time for the Swifts, trailing by 9 goals. And this third quarter is where the opportunity comes to make or break. The Swifts want to make sure that they are within distance, and a good pick up there from Clemisha. She's threatened to do that a couple of times, and Clow...
There were the 2 steps you wanted. Yeah. Extra 2 steps.
Yep, 2 steps from Clow, and it's good to see Laura Clemisha. She's had a couple of goes of coming out of the circle and has mistimed it, but she's persistent and finally came up with ball.
Aiken won't shoot from there. Swings across court. Berger trying to give Tippett the message. There's room to burn behind you. Take it. She does. And she takes the Firebirds to 39. They're out by 10.
Erin Berger's been a really good pickup for the Firebirds. You know, we don't talk about her a lot in commentary because she really does do a great job of just linking the back line and the front line. Lets Caitlin Nevins have really first choice of space. But when she's got the ball in her hand, she delivers really well. Great pass then into Tippett.
Well, she came in off the radar, didn't she? She didn't start the season for them. She was a good pickup. She actually, I think, first hit the ground in Perth, off a plane, on court. MVP, I think, in that match. Certainly set the world on fire, and she's settled into the line nicely. Mahalia Cassidy, a big loss for them pre-season.
Contact goal defence. Half time, goal defence, there's no need for that support. Don't run it.
Well, the warning goes out to Kate Shimmin. No need for the carry-on after the penalty. Don't forget, you can stream every game of Suncorp Super Netball on the Netball Live app. You can stream it live, fast and data-free, only with Telstra. A must-have. So Firebirds out by 10, leading the quarter 7-2.
And the Swifts had such a good start to the game, and you wonder where that level of intensity has gone. They had it for the last few minutes of that second quarter. But the Firebirds, I guess to their credit, you know, they got pummeled in that first quarter and just put their heads up and worked their way into this game, and they show no signs of letting up on this Swifts lineup.
Brilliant take from Sam Wallace, and the composure to complete with the shot. That's involved the crowd, and that's what the New South Wales Swifts will need. A little bit of support from the superheroes in the crowd here at KYTO. It's a big crowd too. Of course, another match to follow tonight, the Giants and the Lightning, so they're coming out in big numbers to support both the New South Wales teams.
Now, And a good win there for the Swifts defensive line, and that's when the opportunities will come, when Romelda Aiken-Simpson
flying.
Yeah, read it beautifully. And this is where the Firebirds need to repay their defensive line when they pick up these sort of intercepts. But when Romelda Aiken comes out of the circle, they're the opportunities for the Swifts to pick up possession in terms of just making sure you put pressure on everyone. Aiken's not a renowned ball deliverer.
Ball chaser in Tippett. Beat Nevins to it. Quite the athlete. And Aitken, as she can do all night, might miss, but first to ball. So she completes for the Firebirds. They're out by 11.
And a couple of opportunities going missing them for the Swifts. Defensively, they fought to pick up possession, and they weren't able to get it past the transverse line, really, or much past the centre circle, and that's a real problem for them.
Claire O'Brien links with Hadley. Wallace straight to post. No. Wants to reposition. Mickey Vaughan from good range. Oh, it drops. I thought about it, but it drops, and the Swifts hit 32, 10-goal game. Halfway through the third, Maddie Turner gets a piece, just can't hold. Turner and Klaus starting to come out at some ball now. They're trying to lift the Swift side.
Well, they have to. They can't wait until the ball's anywhere near the circle to contest. And another win for Klaus. So let's see what the Swifts can do with it. They haven't been able to punish the Firebirds when they've been able to pick up possession.
Well, the last win was from the skipper. They couldn't complete. This time from Sarah Cloud. These little mini wins are must completes for the Swifts. Vaughan knows that. She does that. One closer, draw the Swifts. So the quarter-by-quarter breakdown, quite astounding. The Swifts 18-13 first quarter, undone, with a massive reply from the Firebirds. 20-9, they took that second quarter. And they lead this one 9-6, not having things all their own way.
Now, sometimes when you see a turnaround like that, you can look at the difference in umpiring interpretation and teams taking advantage of it. But really, this is just the Firebirds building across the last two quarters. And they're starting to look good. And again, you have to ask yourself, like we all asked ourselves last week, where has this form been for the Firebirds? This is as good as their frontliners looked.
Nobody be asking that question more than Rosalie Jenke. They've been in the finals every year since 2012, so it would break their hearts to be sitting on the sidelines next week. What can they salvage moving forward to 2018? 5 minutes, just over 5 remaining until three-quarter time. Swifts with the chance to complete this turnover, start chipping away.
So here's the problem for the Swifts, is that they're all standing parallel. So you had Cloud, Turner and Paige Hadley really standing in a line across the transverse line. No one was driving down the court, no one was coming forward, and that's why they're struggling to get the ball down court.
Mickey Vaughan introduces herself to Kate Schmidt. And that is the time. It's a positional switch, and Emma Tickner in the 10 this week for the New South Wales Swifts makes her debut. Suncorp Super Netball Ranger defender, a Queenslander, steps out for her first outing against Queensland Firebirds.
And a really exciting moment for Emma Tickner. She actually signed with the Swifts a couple of years ago, and the day that she signed, or day before she signed her contract, she was set to sign, she did a knee. So big moment for her.
Well, they were hoping to introduce her earlier this season, but it just wasn't ticking along as hoped. But she's done the hard work and she's on court. It might be the last game, but it might be the first of many for the New South Wales Swifts. So Maddie Turner goes to the bench. Tippett now with a new opponent. Matches the world for physique and height.
Yeah, and I think the change had to be made. Maddie Turner had given away 15 penalties, the most penalised player on court. Doesn't matter how much ball you're winning back. She had 1 intercept and 3 deflections. You've got to be able to stay away from the whistle.
Change also possibly involving a blood bin. There was blood on the knee. Here comes another one for the Swifts. They're trying to chip away at this. They're on the comeback trail. Thanks for the messages. Wouldn't want to spend my night any other way. Love my netball. No arguments from us, Jade. Thanks for sending it in. Don't forget, use the hashtag Team Girls.
So the last 4 minutes of the third quarter, a little opportunities opened up here for the Swifts to drag themselves back into this game. If you can finish the last few minutes well, and for the Swifts, if they can sort of get down to a 6-goal buffer, then you start the last quarter with a little bit of belief that you can run it home.
Time has been called. I think it's just to check some moisture on the court. Well, when they met in round 4, there was just 3 in it at half-time, just 1 goal in it at three-quarter time. So the Swifts won't lie down. They are a team that is in the business of fighting till the end. Whether they complete it well or not, they will fight the battle.
Oh, they will fight, but I'm pretty sure the Firebirds would know, and they would, you know, you do your research when you go into games. You know how teams finish. The Firebirds would know that the Swifts just don't finish well. So you must maintain pressure. You must defensively just try and wear them down. And the Firebirds are experienced enough to know that.
Ironically, some of the bad passes under pressure for the Swifts across this season have come from their more experienced players. That's a disappointment. Aiken takes the time, tries to take the crowd out of it, and the Firebirds hit 45.
And there's a score, worm, and you see a really good indication then of how this game has panned out. Terrific start for the Swifts, but it was about 5 minutes into that second quarter that the Firebirds built, and you can see they've built that lead really across the course of the game. High point was midway through this third quarter, but you can just see in the last couple of minutes the Swifts have started to pull it back.
Tippett adds another. Rosalie Jenke gives us nothing. Absolute focus from the former Australian rep. Into the pocket to Claire O'Brien. A good touch from Simpson. She likes it. And she lets the umpire know. I don't think the umpire needed help, Gab.
Now, Simpson's competed just so well tonight. She's such a tower of strength in that position. 3 intercepts, best on court in that regard. 1 deflection and just 5 penalties. So she keeps herself away from the whistle. And that's how she mounts the pressure. You know, the wing attack doesn't get much of a free run. She doesn't get the opportunity to have the wing defence standing beside her.
Well, she's been showcasing her skills the back end of the season. Great take from Tippett.
AFL style. McCulloch didn't like it. The crowd don't like it. But Tippett had 2 hands on it.
Sydney Swans fans would like it.
No, I don't know. So if you watch it, the ball came out and, yep, I'd argue if a defender got that, she should be able to keep it. So I've got to argue that Tippett can keep it. Generally, possession is given to the player in front, just like Sarah Clow was. And again, that's the extra 2 steps that's won her that ball.
Well, it doesn't hurt to be significantly taller in a contest like that because you carry through. Yeah. And Tippett did that exactly to McCulloch.
Oh, you
crowd didn't like it. The boo's still starting to quieten down now.
Oh, well done, Berger. Hands over defence. Hadley, though, won't lay down.
Well, Firebird trying to put the foot down, running it into three-quarter time. They're out by 10. High ball. Emma Tickner can't get up. Little theatre from our Jamaican friend. She gets no love from the Sydney crowd. They take it up to an 11-goal lead.
Really interesting shooting stats here for the Firebird. You know, we've talked all game about how much they've split that load. So Romilda Aiken at 28 goals, Tippett at 20, and both sitting, they've built it into the 80s in terms of percentages. It's almost like, you know, Gretel Tippett was involved in that controversy a couple of rounds ago where she pushed Jo Weston, and it's almost like she's taken stock of her game and come out firing since then.
It's a great story, though, isn't it? She was embarrassed, I think, by the action, got huge response for it, particularly through social media. But, you know, the good story is she's addressed it and she's gone back to skills, which is the only way you can answer it. Yep. Move forward, be contrite, show your skill. The crowd pounding it down. They're trying to stop this goal from the Firebirds, stop progress. Umpires give them another second, not long enough. But the Firebirds, a 15-10 quarter, go to the three-quarter break, leading the New South Wales Swifts 48-37.
I'm on Team Girls.
I thought so. A team that can't be measured by goals or whistles. We play for each other.
I was going to say that too.
We play for you and her and her and her. We know confidence is contagious.
It sure is.
And a team is for life. Girls supporting girls. That's a team worth joining. Be a team girl.
I know you feel the way I do. The Giants are in the house. Of course, Saturday night, a triple header. The first two coming from KYTO Arena in Sydney. Such a massive game, a top-of-the-table contest. Both teams in the hunt for a top semi and possibly minor premiership. And I feel secure, Liz, knowing that Captain America is in the house.
Along with Batman, Catwoman, Wonder Woman. There's quite a few Wonder Womans around.
Take a look at that ladder. Only percentages separating the Vixens and the Lightning. And the Giants right behind them. So the next two matches on Saturday Night Netball will give us some pieces to the puzzle. Kept waiting right until the last in Suncorp Super Netball. And this one, well, it's not quite done, but the reigning champions have turned the screws on since the second quarter.
Interesting, in that break, Coach Rosalie Jenke for the Firebirds was talking to her charges and telling them that it was becoming a bit scrappy and they were to tidy it up. And it's pretty good advice. That can sometimes happen when teams start taking risks going into the last 5 minutes, the last 15 minutes of the quarter. So you want to show your dominance just by keeping things tidy, making good decisions with the ball.
The Shimon are so close to that one, but it sails through, as does the shot from Wallace. Swifts take it to 38. They trail by 11. And I'm sure the message was similar to the Swifts from Rob Wright. Execute in this last 15 minutes of netball. Don't walk away from it.
No, and it is interesting. With a young team, you can get a bit overwhelmed when you're in this sort of position, and it's up to players like Paige Hadley, Abby McCulloch to say, no, we're going to fight it through. We're going to finish off our season as we want. Just looking through some stats here, and the time in possession stat is one that tends to tell a pretty good story, and this late in the game, things start to even up generally amongst teams. You can see the Firebirds have just had so much more ball, 53% of possession they've had, 47% for the Swifts. So Firebirds have had the ball for a lot longer, and they've made far better inroads with it when they've got it.
Contact goalkeeper.
The other half-time stat, Liz, that has continued. The Firebirds, who have been penalised so much across the year, have been very tidy in this one.
Yeah, they have. And I reckon it's had a lot to do with their defensive setup. You know, they've come off the body, and that suits someone like Kate Shimon. It actually suits the way she plays. She reads the game pretty well.
A ricochet into the pocket, it goes to O'Brien. Back again, she finds Wallace. That's a good feed in from the young wing attack, of course, off to Botswana as part of the Australian World Youth Cup team in July. Tippett offloads. Aitken rewards her. And the Firebirds out to 51.
Oh, Simpson, she's just covering every single move that Claire O'Brien makes. No ball is taken uncontested, and that does take its toll as the game wears on.
Nice feed, though. She turns Flamisha and Wallace responds.
Well, it's a great sign for a young player like O'Brien to be able to wear someone like Simpson for a good 40 minutes. And still she's trying to drive to the top of the circle and finding herself really nice space.
Absorb the pressure and pick your moments.
Contact.
Oh.
Sarah Clow trying to pick her moment, but she draws the contact. They've come out well in this final quarter, the Swifts. They're running goal for goal with the Firebirds. Tippett adds another. Firebirds hit 52, 12-goal game.
Well, you know when Gretel Tippett's feeling confident because she takes that step in no matter where the defenders are. She's prepared to take on the arms. And why not? Scoring at a pretty handy rate over the top.
2-on-1, Flamisha got to sort it out. She goes with Wallace. Leaves Mickey Vaughan available. Of course, Amy Somerville started the game at goal attack for the Swifts. Vaughan entering the game, O'Brien entering the game, Tickner entering the game. So Rob Wright just exploring options. I mean, Liz, they've got to play for contracts, play for the future of the club, big decisions to be made off season.
Yep, absolutely. And you don't want to be giving contracts to players who can't stand up at this level. And yeah, you might only get a few minutes, but that's what being a young player is about.
Oh, that opened up beautifully for the Firebirds.
And they really have tried to set that up all night with Aitken up the top of the circle. And when that happens, that's when Tippett takes that baseline. And it's good to see Gretel Tippett figuring out another way to get into the circle. At the start of the year when you watched her, all she wanted to do was enter the circle from the top. This time round, though, this game in particular, she's really starting to find the backdoor entry and find that space along the baseline.
Great pick up from Shimon, the drive from Berger. Oh, no contest through the middle from the Swifts, so easy for the Firebirds to make progress. Now the pressure mounted, arm over pressure.
Yeah, it's good transition from the Firebirds. And as a result, they're able to get in good shooting position, good feeding position.
Oh, that's a sweet shot from Aitken. She takes her total to 31. Interesting, though, Liz, a lot of talk this season about what kind of load a goal attack should put up in goals. Forget the workload, the setting up, the defensive load. And Gretel Tippett has done herself no disservice, 22 in this game. Yeah. That's a good total.
Yep, but we weren't seeing that at the start of the year. We're seeing it now. And that's why the Firebirds have had a couple of good wins to finish. So, and for me, that's a concern around Magpies, is who's going to step up and score 15 or 20 goals for you?
When they double up on Caitlin Thwaites. Vaughan looking for the deception. Now looking for the drive, no easy access. High release from Sam Wallace, casual as you like. She takes the Swifts to 42.
And Sam Wallace has been a standout for the Swifts tonight, 36 from 40. She's done so much. And when she stays in the circle, she's actually a really efficient mover. And you can see she creates space just with a couple of steps. You wouldn't look at her and say she's super fast. She's got a great leap, but very efficient in the way she moves. And if you look at the Swifts' assistant coach, Megan Anderson, a bit similar when she used to play. So you can see the similarities, just great economy of movement. And the space opens up for her. You don't have to do too much.
We've seen earlier in the season she can take the leads out from the post, but you really don't want that in this formula. You want her on strike. And I guess the story last week for the Swifts, just not enough opportunities for Sam Wallace at post, and a little the same tonight.
Well, yeah, and when she goes out, at the moment down there in the court, Romelda Aitken comes out and Gretel Tippett is fast enough and strong enough to get in and take that drive. But the Swifts, when Sam Wallace comes out, they turn around, there's nothing there.
Beautiful hook, though, from Sam Wallace. So she's rewarded them when she's had possession. She's shooting at 90%, the Trinidad and Tobago International. 36 test caps to her credit, and again, Aitken to Tippett, the reverse of their usual pattern, find space where there was none earlier.
And you can see Aitken looking to set that up. She wants to give the offload to Tippett.
Firebirds out by 12, halfway through the final quarter. Their last quarter of netball in Suncorp Super Netball 2017. And another message, hashtag Team Girls Netball brings us together anytime, anywhere. How right you are, Gabriella. And right now it's bringing, I don't know, something like 10,000 fans together at KYTO Arena in Sydney Olympic Park as Aitken again dishes off to Tippett. It's an Aitken-Tippett show to run it home for the reigning champions. 8-7 quarter. So the Swifts running with them. Shimon to Clemisha. They're looking long. They pick up Nevins. And again, uncontested list through the centre third. Too easy through the middle.
Well, Emma Tickner picks up the Swifts' first defensive rebound of the night. And there's been a few rebounds available.
Oh, great ball. Has he got room? No, runs out of room. A little ambitious from both. Hadley asking for it and O'Brien delivering.
Well, she did her best superwoman stretch. So that's probably the story of the Swifts tonight. They've come up with some nice ball, but just haven't been able to convert from it. Only scored 4 goals from possession games. That'll hurt. You just can't afford to not punish the Firebirds when you do get to win ball back from them.
They're looking comfortable, the Firebird shooters, and why wouldn't you?
Take a look at their shot chart. We've talked about that baseline, and it's not just Tippett who likes it, it's Aitken as well. You can see how many goals they've had from close in. It's something like 45 of their 58 goals, or 55. Well, my maths isn't very good, Annie.
Well, you'll need it later on with the Giants hit Lightning, and we're calculating for and against. So get those fingers and toes working.
But that gives a really good example of where the Firebirds are taking most of their goals from. And it's not just the height of Romelda Aitken. Tippett scored 26 of those goals, and she's able to find really good space as well.
Big game for Gretel Tippett. Now, Aitken said last week the Firebirds like to have fun and they play better when they're having fun. I think they're having fun.
There's been a few smiles.
Maybe not Rosalie Jenke, who would always want more as the coach. As a timeout is called. Timeout for the Swifts. So we'll go to a break while the Swifts sort it out. They trailed the Firebirds 46-59.
The modern world can be challenging. So we designed a car that can help stop for you. The new Nissan X-Trail.
Yeah.
Venture ahead.
At Freedom, we're breaking all the rules with our Ultimate Essentials range. Treat every room in your home to high design without the designer price tags. Shop your ultimate range of must-haves right now at Freedom.
Come back on that.
I didn't realise, yeah.
No, that's okay. So just sometimes I reckon you can still work at it. Maybe just lengthen your through a little bit so you can work it. So you can stay facing it, keep working it. But if you do lose it, lots of talk, just stay connected there, then we're away, mate. Just come in for a seat, just come in. 5.5 minutes of this season left, and I reckon just a great opportunity to get out and play with some freedom. But keep our movement in attack. Finish this off nice and strong though, which means a good change, keep letting the ball go with some options, and let's contest and defend. 5 minutes, let's go.
Gotta love the message from Rob Wright. There's 5 minutes left of our 2017 season. Go out and play with some freedom.
Yeah, and why not? They're in touch in this quarter, and you want to finish it off well. You want to finish it off doing a few good things, and that's such a positive thing for a coach to give a team. When really it's not been the greatest of games. They had a great opening quarter for the Swifts. The Firebirds, though, have dominated, and I suspect their huddle was pretty similar. Just enjoy the last 5 minutes of the season.
Too much on it from Wallace to Hadley, and Hadley just giving us some radar. She wanted it placed out in front, as you would. It was 9 the difference when they met round 4. Firebirds have pushed it out in the final round. Both teams with just under 5 minutes remaining in their season. Their first ever season of Suncorp Super Netball. What lies ahead down the track? We've seen the 3 new teams in the competition dominate the semi-finals. We've yet to know in what configuration. But Liz, I think the reality is, first year, looking across the years, those teams, the boundaries are going to shift. There'll be player transition. It's exciting to think how it can build.
Oh, it is. And you look at I guess, the foundation clubs that probably suffered through the off-season and lost players. Most of them are in pretty good position. Oh!
Emma Tickner on the stat sheet.
Yep, she's had a pretty good introduction to the game, Emma Tickner. She's been caught chasing Gretel Tippett a couple of times, but she's found the ball and found possession.
A different speed to Maddie Turner, but she brings a physicality that matches up well on Tippett, and she's been busy. So Shimon.
Yeah, terrific game from Shimon. She was MVP in last week's match.
Interesting choice, though. She went up so high to get it to the rafters and then dropped a mollygrubber into the captain. Payback. Aitken, eyes only for Gretel Tippett. Plays it off balance, but that's what she loves to do. They're toying with them a little, the Firebirds, at the back end of the game. Alley-oop.
There it is. Aitken's pretty happy about it.
She's the only one.
I was going to say, very few in the crowd appreciated it, but it's a great skill that she brings to the game.
And maybe she was listening to Rob Wright's message, enjoy the close of the game, play with some freedom. She did just that.
Well, and also with Gretel Tippett, it was something that she probably overused when she first really hit this level of netball. And right now you see her, she's pulled it back a little bit and she's just waiting for that space to open up, and that's because teams have had the opportunity to have a good look at her and they know how to close that space down, and that was frustrating her earlier in the year.
Brings up her 36th of the game and takes the Firebirds to 63. But interesting, Sam Wallace the most prolific on court. 41 from 45 at 91%.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? She's been doing a huge amount of work, and you can see here the Swifts just forced to take a few more shots from long distance, and it is at the top of the circle where they're really confident. So interesting that the Firebirds are dominating the baseline, and the Swifts will dominate that mid part of the circle in terms of where they prefer to shoot their goals from. So two very different teams in their approach to the post.
And you spoke, Liz, top of the game about the key players for the Swifts. You pointed out Clow, you pointed out Wallace. They really have followed through.
Yeah, they have. They've had really good games. And again, just watching this Firebirds, it's the first time we've seen them really have a bit of fun this year. And Romelda Aiken sinking the long shot.
Well, as we said, she thinks they play well when they're having fun. Right on cue, they're producing it for us. So a mixed season for both these sides, but we've enjoyed what they've brought to Suncorp Super Netball as we watch them enter the last 2 minutes of their season. The New South Wales Swifts and the Queensland Firebirds, for so long the dominant teams in our National League competition, our Trans-Tasman competition. They know all about winning, and now they're in the business of rebuilding. Oh, good ball, picks up Berger down the middle corridor. There's the flare at the finish. They want more. Tippett with the reverse pivot. Oh, she thought about the alley-oop. She steadies, and the Firebirds hit 65.
So 37 goals from Romelda Aiken, nowhere near her best return for the year. But she's looked happy, and that's what's counted for the Firebirds tonight.
Oh, tested on the Molly Grubber, and she's caught chasing it right into the sideline, I think into the media bench, probably giving a post-match interview. It's a little early, Romelda. Oh, pressure over. She comes, she's put some theatre out in this final quarter.
She almost looks surprised.
Can show it.
She almost looked surprised when she got her hands to that ball there.
Have a look at her chasing the low ball. Then she gives a post-match interview about 30 seconds too soon. Steadies, defends.
Oh, beautiful finish.
Well, the crowd countdown for the Firebirds and the Swifts to close their season. The Firebirds eventually winning that quarter, 17-11, taking the match by 19, 67 to 48. So a big score in the end for the Firebirds, the defending champions. The sun sets on the season for two champion clubs. The Swifts finalists since 2014, the Firebirds reigning champs, 3 times premiers. Bow out Suncorp Super Netball 2017. Swifts finishing in 6th position, just behind the Firebirds, who managed 5th.
Really impressive start from the Swifts, Annie, and they looked like they started with the sort of intent that they've been lacking, but again, it's the same story for them, just the inability to finish off. The Firebirds, though, will look at that 3 quarters and want to model it going into next year, and they'll wonder where that sort of form was at the start of the season. Had they produced that sort of game more consistently, then they could very well be looking at a finals appearance next week, but they will be spectators.
Plenty of positives for both sides. You can see it on the faces of their captains responding to their team. Rosalie Jenke is happy, and I expect so too Romelda Aiken, who razzled and dazzled in the final 15, and she joins Laura Spurway.
Thanks, Annie. Well, Romelda, you were ready for your close-up over there before with the camera, weren't you? Congratulations, you finished the season with a win. Is it a bit bittersweet, though, given that you're missing the finals?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. I think we're just hitting our momentum right at the end of the season, but a little bit too late. But look, I think we all had fun out there knowing that it's our last game for the season, but definitely looking forward to next year, and from now on we're just going to build.
Yeah, you did look like you were enjoying yourself with Gretel in that last 5 minutes. Is it frustrating to know that perhaps, you know, you've got that momentum only working now and your combination's starting to click?
Look, we've got lots of changes in our team, and it's just for us to just work on it. And this year we've had just a massive change in our defence, and so it's just us just working together, going through the process, and getting the combinations right, and then next year we'll hit it harder.
Okay, congratulations. Thanks for the season.
Thank you very much.
I'm also joined now by Abby McCulloch. Abby, I guess an end to a season that's probably been a learning curve for your guys, but seems to be a trend that you start strongly and then a bit inconsistent towards the end.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we played our best quarter all season in that first quarter this year, and first time I think we've ever scored 18 goals, so that's my massive positive we can take away from today. Disappointed we lost, but you know, it was a good showing out there. We got a couple of girls out on court for their debut, and we can't ask for anything more.
How would you sum up season 2017? You've shown that you can compete with the best sides in the comp.
Yeah, massive learning curve, as you said. Our goal this year was to just get better every single game, and I think we've done that in patches. So we're going to go away this off-season. We're going to get 3 weeks of head start on the girls that play the grand final, and we're going to be working hard, ready to get back on court next year.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time, Abby.
Thank you.
Plenty of positives taken out of season 2017 from the Swifts captain. And we thank both sides for a wonderful season of netball. As we draw a close on their season, we're going to wrap up this game. We'll be back in a moment with a Suncorp post-match wrap and crunch the numbers. Stay with us. More after the break.
Australia's biggest stage. Lights up. With the greatest battles of all time. But
could we just flip some things for a second?
what happens when the entire show
I just need to find out from our producers
is deranged?